Ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Here at Watches One of 2023, here with my dear friend Karl-Friedrich Scheufele, as the CEO, wearing a different hat this time, of Ferdinand Berthoud. How are you, sir?
Very well. Wait, thank you.
So I would like to go back in time a little bit. Almost 10 years ago, not quite, 2015, when you launched Ferdinand Berthoud in the modern era. Tell me a little bit about that journey. I mean, tell me about that process of discovery, tell me about acquiring the brand, and tell me about your long-term vision.
Yes, well, acquiring the brand, if you want to call it a brand, which I never really liked in a way. Berthoud is simply one of the most famous watchmakers of an era where precision, chronometry was key, not only as an art, but mostly also very useful for crossing the seas.
Indeed.
And then I got acquainted with Berthoud because of our museum, where we collect, amongst other clocks and pocket watches, precision chronometers.
Right.
And Berthoud obviously had a place there. So I managed to purchase our first Berthoud for this occasion, for the museum, and I went into finding out everything that you could find out, and the more I found out, the more I got excited.
It's incredible.
And then Berthoud, I managed to buy the name,
Right.
as I said,
Right.
because of all this. But then 2009 only we started the project, because until that time we decided, well, we had to decide how we tackle the idea of reviving Berthoud
Right.
in a contemporary setting on the wrist.
Yes, absolutely.
And so 2015, finally, the first Berthoud FB1 saw the light of day, and it was, I would say, immediately welcomed by those who know watchmaking history, and it was welcomed because of the expertise that we put in, the positioning which we chose, and also because we were not nostalgic about it, but we were modern about it. So basically all these ingredients went into the first Berthoud, and this is what defined our way forward up till today. And today, well, we are kind of celebrating the first movement.
Right.
In a final edition of, I would say, the movement, 38 pieces in different versions. So this watch is called FB2 RT, and the R stands for round.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's the first time that you find this movement in a round case, but with sapphire bridges.
Yeah, those are incredible.
Because, well, some collectors would say, I would like to wear this watch the other side round, and particularly now with the sapphire bridges, because it's really spectacular.
Wow. I mean, it's truly magnificent to behold. I mean, let's go back to 2015. Well, no, let's go to the year after 2016, because shortly after launching your first Berthoud watch, you won the Geneva Grand Prix Aiguille. I mean,
Yes.
how did that make you feel? That's
You know, that made me, that was an undescribable feeling, because yes, we worked very hard, but yes, we had expectations, but I mean, we entered the watch and said, well, maybe we'll make a prize in the chronometer category, because, right. I mean, precision-wise, we are extremely, I think we are extremely good, but I did not expect the grand prize.
It's a very
1 minute.
Yeah, it's a very unique ability and challenge to resurrect a legendary name, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the two people who have done it really remarkably in the modern era is Günther Blumlein and Walter Lange with Magnusson. And I have to say what you've done with Berthoud also. And in both cases, a big challenge, because you're not, you know, everything that was produced previously, none of them were wristwatches.
No, there were never any wristwatches, and obviously, and there were pocket watches, there were ship chronometers, which were of exceptional size and exceptional quality. And luckily we own some of those in our museum. Right. But no, there were no wristwatches, and again, we didn't want to enter this road of sort of remake or. But every single Berthoud piece reminds you of features that these pieces had in the past, but there's a new interpretation.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, on the subject of new interpretations, and if I may be so kind to ask the gentleman to pass me that glass object over there. Thank you very much. Karl-Friedrich, I would like to present you with the Best Men's Watch prize from Revolution magazine for the Ferdinand Berthoud chronometric FB3 SPC. So, there you go.
Thank you so much, Wei Koh.
Pleasure, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you. It's we will have quite a collection now of prizes.
Well, you deserve them.
Amazing.
You deserve them.
Thank you, really. Thank you.
It's exceptional. And maybe let's talk about that watch since you have it on your wrist as well, because it's also an interesting challenge to go from something very complicated to a tourbillon to create a watch that is a little bit more, let's say, I don't want to say accessible, but a little bit more simple in terms of it, but yet retaining all of the amazing technical and design language that you created with Ferdinand Berthoud. Tell me about the unique challenge that watch posed, and tell me about how you feel that the final execution of it was, because I adore those watches.
Well, the unique challenge of this watch is the hairspring to start with.
Right.
So we, starting off with this design, we said this watch has to be a Berthoud in every sense of the word, but we could not integrate a fusée chain, because one of the characteristics we wanted to obtain is to have a smaller, slightly smaller watch, right. Also a slightly thinner watch, but no less interesting in the execution and the architecture of the movement.
Right.
And the architecture of the movement, I think, is what really makes the difference.
I agree.
Because once again, you can observe what is important to the porthole.
Yes.
And the architecture is simple, and if you look at every single detail, you can recognize a Berthoud
Immediately. Yeah.
immediately, especially if you have next to this watch one of the pieces that led us to the design.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you turn it around again, this finish, by the way, took us months to achieve.
How did you go about achieving
it's
this?
Sort of a grené
yeah.
finish, but it is handmade.
Really?
It is made with a brush.
Yeah.
And to have it in such a relatively even way, but still you can feel that there was a human hand involved in finishing this movement. And the finish of all movements Berthoud is what really drives us. We want to reach perfection, which obviously we'll never reach,
sure. But it's the pursuit.
We want to get really close to it.
You know, Karl-Friedrich, I know you pretty well now, and I know that for you, when one chapter closes, another begins. Without revealing too much, as you know, of course, we're still 2 years away from the milestone of your 10th anniversary. What would be possible to elevate the horological language from Berthoud even more, to a different level, a higher level?
Well, I can say that much. I just mentioned that some collectors want to wear this watch upside down.
Right.
So imagine if you could wear it upside down. What would happen?
Would be phenomenal.
What would you see?
I got it.
Huh?
Fantastic.
So, but I won't say more than that.
That's a great hint. Karl-Friedrich, thank you so much. Thank you for all you do. As always, it's a pleasure, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.